Julianne. Hi there.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm fine.
So what club is yours?
I'm from Nashua.
Okay.
So listening, I was on your training on Monday night and listening to all these clubs with their new and young members. We're down to, we might have 12. We have probably 5 to 6 active. I mean,
Yep.
so we're really struggling right now also.
Well, actually, Julianne, that's not uncommon.
Yeah,
I visited a lot of the clubs, and of course, that's what I'm supposed to do for the year.
right.
And they'll say, well, we have 40 members. And you look at the meeting and they've got 6 that are at the meeting.
Yeah.
So if you only got 12 and all 12 of them come to meeting, you're probably better than most.
Yeah. And we don't have that many, but yeah, I know. So anyway, we did a little bit of a, I don't think you can see it very well, but we did a, find out how you can help,
Uh-huh.
and a whole little thing on our club and what we do. And so we do roller skating from December through March in an old
fun.
civic center. And that was going to be done because we have members who can't get down and help kids get on skates. And of course it's every Sunday,
Yep.
no matter what. And so we were ready to give that up, and we kind of put something out there. And so we got this younger gal to join, and she has some kids in school. And so she's getting her 4-H to take it over. And so, I mean, we have been lucking out with a few things, but
That's good.
yeah.
And that's one of the ways to improve membership is don't ask them to do what we do. Ask them what they are passionate about. And they'll say, well, I want to do this. And you go, that's a heck of an idea. And so you take it to the club and you as the president, all right, I think we need to do this. We have a new member that's willing to take this on. Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
And don't let them go negative on you.
Yeah.
Now, well, we've never done it this way, and I think it's going to be a mistake. And whenever I hear that, I'll say, good. I hope we do make mistakes. And they're all looking at, well, wait a minute. I guess I don't understand. Why would you want to make mistakes? I said, because you learn from your mistakes. You don't learn from doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've learned to always throw that back at them. And when you do, they don't know what to do because they're expecting you to go negative just like they are.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the thing to do is find somebody that's interested and find out what they're passionate about.
Right.
And try to bring that into the club.
Yep. Yep.
So,
And we had another member this year. He offered, if we had any new members, he offered to pay their membership for this year.
okay.
So that, I think we may have 2. So we have
Awesome.
one for sure. We had a meeting last night, so we'll see how we do.
Okay.
But
Well, I put the challenge out there. The challenge, every club needs to net 1 for the year.
I know. We talked about that last night too. So I guess we'll see how it goes.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how come I'm so purple.
Yeah, you are pretty purple. I don't
Unless
know.
it's my shirt, because I have a purple shirt on. So
Oh, that could be part of it. So how many do you have scheduled tonight?
I'll have 8. So we'll see how many actually make it.
Okay.
Because I did get some emails saying, where can we see this when it's all over? Because our club meeting is tonight, or,
Oh.
the basketball game is tonight, or,
Yes, typical.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I know.
that's what you get when you're in most of rural Montana. So.
I know. That's for sure. Yeah. Oh.
So what do you do in Nashua, Julia?
So actually, we live in Fort Peck,
Okay.
but I'm a retired teacher.
Oh, good for you.
And so I have done last winter from February till May, I did a 6th grade maternity sub position.
Yep.
And then when school started, I did another 6-week 1st grade maternity sub. And right now I'm doing another 1st grade maternity sub.
Wow.
And these have all been in Glasgow.
Okay.
So yes, I just got home a little bit ago too, but so yeah, we're just doing a little of that. And then my husband, he's going to be fully retired January 14th, and then we're heading south. So
Good for you.
yeah.
Well, I drive school bus and I
Okay.
sub, but
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
and I do that just because one, they need drivers, and two, it gives me something to do.
Yeah.
Henry, how are you today?
Hi, doing good, Mike. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you just
Okay.
fine.
All right. Sometimes I got the mute on and I didn't realize. All of our snow melted today.
Yes, it did, but it's supposed to come back tonight.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they said they're supposed to snow from about 7 until like midnight or something like that. I think it's what the Weather Channel said.
So where are you guys again?
We're in Sunburst,
Oh,
way up
Yeah,
north.
way up. Oh yeah.
We're 9 miles from the border, right on
Okay.
Interstate 15.
Okay.
We can't see the edge of the earth, but we live at the edge, but we can't see it from our front porch. So
Okay. That's the way it goes. So how much snow did you get this last one then?
maybe an inch if we were lucky, but it's
Oh, okay.
pretty much all gone. I mean, it was 49 degrees here today.
Yeah. We had about over 3 inches here. Actually, Glasgow had another record, 3 point something, I don't know. So we've had quite a bit, and we still have some, but yeah, it really melted. I had icky roads coming home again, slush,
Yep.
like a lot of slush frozen on the road. And so, yeah, just ice covered but
Yeah, that's the way it was with the bus route this morning, but by the afternoon run, everything was clean and dry. So,
okay. All right.
so I'm just going to wait a few more minutes, see if anybody else signs on, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I wish we could have gotten that snow a few weeks ago or a week or so ago and saved Denton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at a $20,000 emergency grant for them.
Really,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's, we reached out to them, Raymond, our vice president, and they were saying that, right now it's just so hectic and chaotic that they don't know what they need or what they want
Right.
right now.
And so we've been talking to the club there, and as soon as they can kind of get calmed down and figure out what they need, we just figured a 20,000 after the math was be more useful than trying to get a 10,000 before.
Yeah,
Get 10,000, to plan and prepare before it happens. Well,
Yeah.
by the time you do that, the emergency is already in process. So
yeah,
we figured a $20,000 one to help, people stay in a hotel or, whatever
Yep.
to help
for
the
just
fire
Basic,
departments.
basic needs, you know?
Yep.
That's, that's the
Yeah.
best we can do right now while everyone figures out what to do with the insurance
Yep.
and what to do with the, whether to rebuild or what, but,
And I've had a lot of clubs want to know how best to help by giving money. And I said, well, get a hold of the president and see if you can donate directly to the club, and then the club can do it for whatever they want. So
mhm.
Okay.
that'll be good.
Hmm.
Yeah, our local bank here in Fort Benton has a, you know, a fund available for us to donate to, and so we'll probably at a minimum do that, you know, at our next meeting.
Yep.
So probably dump a little slush into the fund there.
Well, every little bit helps.
Yeah. We just gave them a little bit last night from our meeting too, so.
Okay, good. They appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, it's 6:35. We've waited long enough. Let's go ahead and get started, okay?
Okay.
So District 37 training, we're going to be talking about club president. So our objectives is to know and to understand what it is to be a president. Okay, because a lot of people end up saying, okay, I'll do it, but they don't have a clue. And they end up saying, I'll do it because nobody else would volunteer.
How about you're the vice president and the president before doesn't join again?
Well, then, Peg, you're it. So we're going to understand the duties of your position.
Yeah.
Okay, how to plan your year, the leadership expectations, because you are the leader. Okay, and where to find some of the resources to help you do the things that you need to do as a president. Okay, and then most of all, how to enjoy your year. It's not all just admin and, oh my God, what am I going to do next? It should be fun. Okay. And if you do the right things and you stay in front of it, be proactive instead of reactive, you're going to find that being the president can be a lot of fun. It's just like I found as being the district governor. I wasn't really apprehensive, but never having been one before, but I'm having a lot of fun, really enjoying it. So, okay. So please understand this. As a club president of a Lions Club becomes the face of Lionism in the community. You're it. Tag. Remember that game we used to play when we were young? That's it. This can be an awesome opportunity as well as an awesome responsibility. If you let it go to your head, it can be both, even worse. The day a Lion becomes president in the view of fellow Lions and the community, he or she also becomes an expert in all things about Lionism. You didn't know that, did you?
I'm a long way.
So
from that.
now you can all sign out and saying, I quit. No, it really is that. Don't let it get to you, because you're going to find that your year is going to be a lot of fun if you do some really simple things. And we're going to talk about those, okay? Okay, role and duties of the president. You're the CEO. Just like in a company, you're the leader. You call and preside at the club, all the meetings. You call the meetings, you run the meetings. Okay, and please understand that. You call the meetings, you run the meetings. Don't let somebody else run over you or try to run the meeting around you. You run the meetings. You're also on the board of the directors. Okay, and call special meetings. Let's say because of Denton, you've decided to have a special meeting to see what we can do to help them financially. You call that meeting. That's your responsibility as the president, nobody else's. You call a special meeting, you expect all of your members to be there, okay? You appoint committee chairs and members, and we're going to talk about that a little bit lengthier as we go along here, okay? But understand it's your responsibility to be sure all the committee chairs are appointed. You want to ensure regular elections are called and held? That's extremely important. That's one of your responsibilities, to be sure the elections are done and they're done correctly. And this is the one that most people don't understand. Attend cabinet, zone, and region meetings if you can. Now, all of my cabinet meetings have a Zoom component, okay? So you can always attend via the Zoom component. If there is a zone chair that wants to call a meeting, you're expected to be there, right along with the region chair if they have zone meetings. And one of the reasons why is because you're going to report to the zone what your club has been doing. And it's not that we are watching and seeing to be sure you're doing it right. We as a district just want to know what's going on. Just like you as the president want to know what's going on in your committees, we want to know what's going on in our clubs. So most of it comes down to the fact that if we learn what one club is doing, we can share it with another club. All right. That's why it's important that you attend these meetings. Okay, as a chief executive, where does your authority come from? It literally comes from the club. Now, when you look at business, there's usually the CEO, then there's the board, and then there's vice presidents and everybody else. In Lions, the top is the club. The club members are the top of this chain of command. Then it's the board of directors, then it's the president, and then it's everybody else. Okay. Club as a whole, club constitution and bylaws, there's certain things you can and cannot do as per the constitution and the bylaws. And unless your club has a specific club constitution and bylaws, you use the standard one from LCI. That's what I've seen. Most everybody uses that one. It's pretty much the same as LCI, but it's a little bit more appointed towards the clubs. But there, you read that and it tells you what you, not what you can or can't do, but what's more expected of you, okay? From the board of directors. As the president, you run the board of directors. Your board of directors, understand, are all elected, just like you are, okay? So they sort of kind of help run things. Now, Julianne, does your club have a board of directors?
You kidding? Sorry, no.
No. Henry, does yours?
We do for our state filing. We've been trying to institute a board of director meeting or at least officer meeting the week before our full meeting.
Okay.
But it seems like it's been kind of tough with everyone's schedules and everything.
Sure.
We've only had one, but that is the goal, is to shift a little more of the weight of forming up the meetings and everything and
Yep.
content through the
Yep.
board of director meeting 1 week before.
Our club does not. Okay, the Coos Street Grasslands Club does not. But we're getting to the point where at 40 some members, we should start having a board of directors. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we go along too. Okay. Remember, it is the board of directors and club members who have the ultimate authority, and the president is here to serve them. Okay. You don't stand up there with your bullwhip and get everybody going. You're here to monitor, to help, to move people in the direction that they need to go, so that the club goes down the correct path. You're the guide, as it were. Okay. So the board of directors consists of the president, the immediate past president, the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, a 2-year and a 1-year director, because that way every year you're bringing in a new director. They're voted in, and the membership chairperson. All right. Optional members can be the tail twister, the line tamer, and a club branch coordinator if you have one. I haven't met a club yet that has a club branch coordinator. Most of them had a tail twister, but a lot of them don't even have a line tamer. So, you know, some of the bigger clubs, some of the older ones do, but you know, those are optional members.
What does the lion tamer do? What would that?
Good question. Real quick.
Oh,
Jerry, Jerry has a question.
yeah.
The lion tamer,
I think you're on mute, Jerry. There we go.
There you,
Can you hear me?
oh, there you are,
Yes.
Jerry.
yep.
Yeah, the lion tamer is in charge of all lion banners and usually sets up the meeting room ahead of
That's it. Yep.
Our guy gets the flags out and the button box and kind of sets that up, and sometimes helps with whoever's catering our dinner meal.
Yep.
Oh,
Acts as sergeant at arms if you don't have one.
Hmm.
You know, there's a lot of things that the lion tamer can do. Jerry, what's your club?
Haver, Montana.
Ever, okay.
I'm
I
just the vice
recognize I
president.
recognize the face and the name, but I didn't recognize where you were from.
Yep, I'm just a vice president, but I'm set to take
Take
the
over next year.
presidency in about a year and a half. So I thought I'd
Sweet.
get in on this training.
You betcha. This will be good for you. Okay,
And we have board meetings almost every meeting.
so you do
after
have a
the
board
regular
meeting. So your board meeting is before the regular meeting?
No, it's usually after, because we make decisions, have group discussions about like maybe where we're going to spend money or commit our time. And then the board kind of decides officially if we're going to do that or not.
Okay, because normally it's the other way around. The
Yeah, it's
board
an
decides
interesting
what they're
take,
going to
though.
do, and then they take it to the club, and the club decides yes or no. But your way is fine.
Yeah, it's an interesting take because everything is fresh in your mind right after
Yeah.
the meeting, you know?
Yep. No, that's actually, you know, and if it works for you, that's great.
I
Because
would
then,
say
the-
that's the way it's been grandfathered into me and been
Oh,
the way
it-
the 11 years I've been in the club. So
yep,
I kind of feel like the old guys made it that way. So it's
Yeah.
not necessarily my way. It's the way
yeah.
it was.
Well, okay. Because basically, the club has been making the decisions, and then the board is just saying yes. And normally it's the other way around. The board makes these decisions, and they go to the club, and the club says yes. That's normally
Maybe
way
it's the
set up.
financial component, because we do have a vote during our regular meeting if we were to do something like we're going to give money to the Lions swim team.
Yep.
And the club votes on that, but whether or not on how much we're going to give them, that comes to the board meeting,
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Interesting.
Well, you know, it's your club, your way. So it works. Okay, duties of the board of directors. This is what you're supposed to do. Review and refer all new business appropriately and shape new policy. Okay, so the board is going to have these discussions, and then based on what the board decides, you bring it to the club. Approve expenditures, arrange for audits. All right, so at the end of the year, the finances are going to be audited. The board decides who's going to do it and when it's going to be done. As opposed to going to the treasurer and say, all right, when do you want to get audited? No, that's a board decision. Approve financial institutions such as bonding. If you're not bonded, if your treasurer's, what bonding is, it helps prevent the treasurer or somebody else who has signing authority from running away with your money. Now, most of the clubs, they're so small anyway that it's never been a problem, but that's what bonding does, because some of the clubs make quite good money. And so most of them that do are bonded, but that's what bonding does. It helps protect the club in case somebody decides to take the money. So you understand that you have to maintain 2 separate accounts. administrative, which is Lions money, and activity, which is public money. The two of them are not supposed to be intermixed. You can run administrative money into the public funds if you want, okay? But you can't go the other way around. The activity money, the money you get from the public has to go back to the public. So you just made $10,000 on some fundraiser, and now you're using that money to buy pizzas for everybody at the next meeting. Nope. Can't do it, okay? That's what administrative funds are for. Paying dues, paying your LCI and your district dues, buying stamps, buying supplies, buying food or whatever. That's administrative, okay? Somebody else signing in? Modify, overrule, and rescind officer actions. Really? So understand, like I said earlier, in the hierarchy, it's the club, it's the board of directors, it's the president, and then it's everybody else below them. So if you've got a officer that's doing something immoral, unethical, not in regards to what the Constitution or the bylaws says, the board of directors can come in and modify what's being done, overrule what's being done, or rescind the officer's actions altogether. You don't have to go to the club and mention it, okay? This is a time when maybe everybody knowing that somebody was doing something wrong may not be the best thing for the club. So the board just handles it themselves. They have that option. Oh, planning. Remember I said be proactive, not reactive. Reactive, you're behind the 8 ball when it comes to this. Before your term begins, understand members' motivations and needs. It's important to understand where your members are at, who does what. Hopefully you've been in the club long enough that you understand that Mary Beth just loves to cook. And when it comes to cookies, okay, we can always get cookies from her. Or, you know, John is a great carpenter and he loves to help when it comes to building things. So it's understanding what motivates them and what the needs of the club are. Okay. Review the club officers team manual. So if you go to lionsclubs.org/resources/en, the PDF, this website, that website is the club officers team manual. A lot of great information. It's probably a good read if you're not tired and want to go to sleep real quick. So, but a lot of good information. It helps you keep ahead of the game. Participate in district events, conventions, meetings, etc. I was a president of my club for 4 years, and I thought I knew what Lions was all about after my 4th year. Well, my 4th year, I was asked to be a zone chair, not having any idea what a zone chair is. I said, sure. So I started getting active in the district. I started going to district events, started going to conventions, started attending cabinet meetings. And what I learned was I didn't know squat about Lionism. I really didn't. The conventions specifically, not only were they a lot of fun, they're very educational. So this is my point to put in my plug. Mine is in Great Falls, end of April, 1st of May. And Patty Hill, who is the 2nd Vice International President, is my guest speaker. So there's no reason why you all can't come to Great Falls and join the convention. I'll just let that go from there, okay? But plan on it. So get together with your club, put it out there, and try to encourage because you're the leader, this is your job to encourage them to attend the convention, because not only is it a lot of fun, but it's educational. Participate in club officer training. So you've got a new secretary, or you've got a new treasurer, or you have a brand new vice president. Start helping them along. Get them involved in doing something, okay? Be familiar with your club or standard form Lions Club constitution and bylaws. If you've read it and you understand it, then you're really going to be ahead of the game. Because a lot of things come out of that, especially when you're having a discussion or something like that. You can come out and say, oh, time out. What we're asking you to do is against our bylaws or against our constitution. We can do it this way in regards, or this way. But as long as you know what the constitution, the bylaws are, you have a general idea of it, then it'll really help you out. What's your district constitution and bylaws? If you want to know what that is, montanalions.org. That's the brand new website for my district, our district, okay? And that website is everything you want to know about Lions. You can go anywhere in Lionism off of that website. Matter of fact, this video will be on YouTube, but the link for it will be under the training icon on our webpage. So you'll be able to go back and listen to it again if you want to. This would be, maybe you can listen to it just before you go to bed so you get to sleep real quick. International Constitution and Bylaws, LA1. I've read it. It really doesn't change things because the standard form Constitution and Bylaws is the one that we go by, but it gives you an understanding of how LCI works. Okay. And that's good to know. If you want to do something, if you want help from LCI, it's best to understand how they work. Okay, you want to start early. Now, most of you, Jerry specifically, because you're a vice president, this will help. So right after election, get permission from your current club president. Mr. or Mrs. Jones, I'd like to start talking to the committee chairs. I'd like to start talking to the secretary. I'd like to start talking to the treasurer, start getting information, helping things out. Is that okay with you? That way it doesn't look like you're going over the current president's head. Granted, the current president only has a couple months left, but until the end of June, they are still the president. So talk to them and get their permission before you start doing that. Meet with the incoming officers. Again, if the secretary and the treasurer are changing names, you've got a new vice president, maybe that hasn't been there before, and other things are changing because you've got new officers, because it's a new year, get together with them. Have planning meetings, have discussions. Where are we going? What are we doing? Appoint chairs and committee members. Base this on experience, capability, and expression of interest on the part of the club members. Be sure that you talk to the current committee chair. Because I've run across committee chairs that have been running the aluminum can drive for 10 years. And they don't want to give it up. It's one thing that they want to do, and this is my committee and I want to continue to run it. If that's the way it needs to be, then put him as committee chair again. But you might get together with him and say, Sam, you've been doing this for a long time. What happens if you die? Then who's going to take over? Why don't you have Susie over here help you out? You can start mentoring her, teaching her, training her on how you're doing the can recovery in case something happens. So you haven't displaced him, but now you're working towards a replacement in case something happens. Have everyone ready, July 1st, tag you're it. Okay? If replacing someone, like I said, talk to them. Let them know, I'm not replacing you because you've done a lousy job. I think it's just time for somebody else to do this. But if you have that discussion with the current chair, let them know that you would like to have somebody else who's now very passionate about whatever that committee is doing. It goes a long way to not losing a member, for one, and or having one that's just all upset. Okay, secretary and treasurer's duties. Talk to them about record keeping. How are they keeping them? Where are they keeping them? Who has them? Where are they stored? How are they doing it? The whole smear. If for no other reason, then you maybe have an understanding of what it is and how it is that they're doing their job. And if you have another way of doing it, talk to them about it. Okay. I noticed that you've been writing checks all the time. You know, the printer or the laptop that we use has a program on there to print the checks for you, so you don't have to do it. And instead of having it all on a checkbook, maybe we should have, oh, I can't see now, I'm having a brain fart. A checkbook online or on the computer. But they have QuickBooks. Thank you. My wife in the background. So maybe we should put QuickBooks on a computer, and then it would make it easier. See, so those are the things you want to talk about. Okay. Don't go in there and start slinging arrows. We're going to do all these big changes now that I'm president. Boy, in my experience in the past and a lot of other things, all that does is upset a lot of people. So financials, members, minutes, committees, all of that. Where are we going? What are we doing? Be sure that you're reporting the board of directors, the club, the district, and the LCI. Okay. So as things combine, you're getting those minutes, you're getting that information, and you're keeping it and you're passing it on. Signing authority. You're the president. You have signing authority on the checks. The old president, do they? No, they don't. Okay. So if you have a new treasurer or a new secretary and they have signing authority, then you need to go to the bank and get it all changed. And what they need, most banks need a copy of the minutes indicating who the new officers are, because they have to put that in the file. Bonding. If you're already bonded, it's not a big deal. You may have to do a name change. The bank can do that for you, whoever the bonding agency is. Treasurer's duties, again, we talked a little bit about it. 2 accounts. There has to be 2 accounts. Lions money, that's dues. All right. And it's also anything else that the club gets that it's paid for. My club this year did a catered dinner for an insurance agent up here that was putting on a dinner for all of his clients. So we bought the food, or no, he bought the food. We just cooked it. We put it on. He paid us $1,000. That's admin money because we got paid to do a job. This was not a Lions Club service event. This is just something that the Lions did. So that's admin money. Okay. So you're 50-50. Your fines from your tail twister. Not that you make thousands of dollars from your tail twister, unless you're all a whole lot richer than I am. Okay. Activity, that's public money. That's all the funds that you raise doing your fundraising and service. That all has to go back to the public. And it's surprising the number of clubs that I see that in their public funds have $30,000. So I asked the question, how is that money going to get back to the public? What is it that the club has in store for all that money? It has to go back to the public. Okay. You can only feed the public hot dogs and hamburgers for so long. Remember, all of that money has to go back to the public. And it's never used for Lions activities, for club activities. And then the Budget Finance Committee. It's surprising the number of clubs out there that don't have a budget. If you have a budget or you don't have one, you should come up with one. Look at the past year's expenditures and have something that you can take to the club. We traditionally get $10,000 in, and my plan for that 10,000 is to do this with it. Okay, 1,000 to LCIF, 1,000 to Montana Sight and Hearing, 1,000 to Leader Dog, 1,000 goes to Florence Crittenden Home. Whatever you're giving it to, or whatever you're going to use locally, it's nice to have a budget, because when the board of directors passes that budget, you now do not need to, except for you, Jerry, for the Havre Club, you don't have to go to the club and request money to do something. It's already been approved. So the board approves it, you give it to the club approves it. Now everybody knows how much money they're going to spend. It makes it really easy. Okay, working with officers and committees. Lions Learning Center has some really good learning courses. One is delegation, one is coaching. And I use coaching more so than just leading, because that's sort of kind of what you're doing as the club president. You're coaching everybody to get done what the club as a whole needs to get done, because technically it all flows through you. Okay, so if you go to LCI or My LCI, go to the Lions Learning Center, because it's an icon right at the top. There's all kinds of different courses that you can take that really break things down for you. Okay, Lions University. So for the USA Canada Lions Leadership Forum, if you go to that website and you do the bachelor's program, the bachelor's program is for presidents. All right, preparing the agenda. You don't think it's important, but this is probably one piece of paper that's probably the most important thing that you have before you start your meeting. So you want to work with the secretary, the vice presidents, the committee chairs to come up with your agenda. Understand I said your agenda. This isn't anybody else's agenda. This is your agenda. You're the leader. You're the president. It's up to you to come up with this agenda. Okay, review the past minutes, because there may be things on there that you have to discuss again, things on there that you may have to vote on again, or things that were tabled that you need to bring up again. And they all need to be on the agenda. Surprising the number of clubs that I've gone to, and I get down to towards the end and the president will go, oh, damn, I forgot about this. Oh, I forgot about this. That's because he didn't have it written down on the agenda. Send it out so everybody can see it. Okay, have your secretary do that. That's not a problem. You don't have to do it. All right, that's the thing about being president. You don't have to do everything. Delegate. Have copies at the meeting, because somebody's always going to say, is there a copy of it? I don't have mine. I forgot to print it out, or I didn't get it. So have copies so the people can look at it. Just makes it nice. This is your blueprint for productivity and effective meetings. It's how you're going to run your meeting. It reminds you of where you're at and what you're doing, how to start, how to finish, what we can do, what we can't do. The number one important document that you have for your meetings. Meeting management course in the Lions Learning Center. Download and review the time management techniques. That's all part of it. Lions University Course 104 is part of the Bachelor's program, effective club meetings. All right, procedures. There's always procedures. It's a body of rules followed by an assembly. It's how you run your meetings, not the steps that you're going to follow, but how you're going to run it. Okay. Call to order, kinds of motions, any debate, voting, table something, rescind something, reconsider motions, recognize speakers, etc. So Robert's Rules is what most clubs use. Now, I got into a bit of a, excuse my language, a piss and moaning contest with somebody in my club when I was president, because we had discussion on something, and the club pretty much came to an agreement on what they wanted to do. And so I said, okay, I need a motion and a second. And somebody raised their hand and said, that's not how it works, Mr. President. You have to do the first and the second, and then you have the discussion. All right. So I basically told the individual, said, we've already had the discussion. We already know what we're doing. And so I went to legal back at LCI after the meeting was all over, because that individual kept beating me up about it. And Robert's Rules is a guide. It's your club, your way. And what I found most of the time, just like Jerry's club, you have your discussion, then somebody makes a motion, and then there's a second, and then you vote on it, which is not in accordance with Robert's Rules. But Robert Rules says as long as everybody's had a chance to voice their opinion, right? And there is a first and a second, and it is on the agenda, technically speaking, it doesn't matter, as long as you have not stifled anybody from having their discussion. Okay? And so Robert's Rules of Orders, here's a good place to go, www.robertsrules.com. Click on the FAQs, and it's a good place to go. They've got some good FAQs in there, but understand, I've done some with FCCLA, and they are huge on Robert's Rules. And so these kids are learning how to do it when they have their meetings, and they follow Robert's Rules to the letter. And to me, that's to me, it's a little too formal. I prefer informal, but I always ensured when I was president that everybody, is there any more discussion? Okay. Can I have a motion? Can I get a second? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. You've basically followed Robert's Rules. All right. Don't go to your meeting without all the previous meetings, okay? Have a 3-ring binder or something that has a year's worth of minutes, because you'd be surprised that number of people will say, well, last year we did it this way, because I know we did it because that's the way the minutes stated. And your secretary can go back a year or whatever and look at the minutes going, nope, our minute says this is what we did. Ends discussion. So that's something that you want to talk to your secretary about to be sure that they have that information. Your agenda, we've already talked about that. Probably the most important piece of paper you can have before you start your meeting. Officer and committee lists. Know who's in charge of your committees. It's embarrassing as hell to stand up there and talk about a committee and say, and Sam this, Sam that, when it's actually George over here is the committee chair. Oops. Know who's what. being prepared to handle any issues. That's tough because you really don't know what issues are coming up unless you've gotten some emails from somebody or somebody's discussed something, or, when we bring this up, I can tell you, Sam's going to be upset because of this and this and this. Okay, well, maybe you can talk to Sam beforehand and find out what the problem is. Okay, but that's preparing you. That's being like I said earlier, proactive in the way you're the president. Okay, so after the meeting, use a follow-up checklist and start working on your next agenda. That's the best time to start your agenda, is directly after that meeting. Your mind is fresh. Okay, you know what's discussed. You've probably taken some notes. Look at the past agenda that you just had. You can mark off the things that were done. Now you can move things over that needs to be discussed again. And it may even jog your memory. Oh, that's right. We need to talk about this next month or this in our next meeting. That's the time when you want to start your next agenda. Don't wait until the day before the meeting because you're going to forget something. I guarantee it. As the president or vice president presides over the meetings, there may be times when conflict arises. President or vice president is the standing authority and must understand how to manage these situations, types of situations. I did 24 years in the Navy and over 10 years in law enforcement, and ended up doing a lot of training towards conflict resolution. There really isn't a right way, but there's a lot of wrong ways. If you use this, it's my way or the highway, there'll be no resolution. Okay. If you roll over and play dead, well, there's a resolution for somebody, but not for everybody. You have to get everybody together. You have to talk about it. You have to find out what the issue is. Sam, why are you so upset over having this young lady be with you? Come on, tell me, get out of Sam why he's upset that you would like this other lady to start to help him. Okay, you probably know why, because he doesn't want to give up his position. He thinks he's being removed. Well, inform me he's not being removed. Not on my watch, you're not. You're my aluminum can committee chair, period, cut and dry. But I'd like somebody else to help. I mean, is that too much to ask? All right. So you work it through. But understand, you're still the standing authority. Sometimes it is my way or the highway, but hopefully not. Group interaction. Oh, Lions Learning Course, conflict resolution. We just talked about that. It's a good one. It gives you some good ideas. Okay, Lions University Course 109, which is part of the bachelor's, conflict resolution. Okay, be familiar with the LCI dispute resolution guidelines for conflicts requiring mediation. Sometimes if that's where you get into, you'll find that in the LCI Learning Center. There is mediation that you can get to if it gets that far. And then LCI's legal is probably going to get involved in it. Appoint standing, permanent, and special single issue limited time period committee chairs and members. We talked a little bit about this. Be sure that you're not trashing somebody, but that you're putting somebody in a committee that's interested in being in that committee. You have a new member, find out what they're passionate about. Throwing them into a committee is not necessarily helping them do what they want to do. Get together with that new member and find out maybe what committee they'd like to be on. Maybe they want to be on the Christmas parade committee, or, the eyeglasses committee, or whatever. So, but again, it's your responsibility to appoint them. Work with the vice presidents to elect chairs and members. It's surprising the number of clubs that have a first and a second vice that don't do anything. They're just waiting for their time. 1 year, okay, next year I'm first, and the year after that I'm the president. But work with them. Hopefully, the president that was there before you became president worked with you. I mean, if not, then that's fine. But don't do that to the next person. Try to help them along. Be their mentor. Okay? Assign vice presidents to oversee, assist, mentor, and report, but not take over. Okay? The committees. Okay? Mr. Vice President. So Jerry, as the vice president, I'd like you to oversee the aluminum can pickup and the rodeo that we're doing this year. Okay? Be with them, help them out. Okay? You're not the committee chair. Okay? So George over here is the committee chair. Work with George, help him out, do what you can, and then report back to me so that I know what's going on. Yes, I'll get the report at the next meeting, but if you already know what's going along, you can tell the president, and then the president has already upgraded information so that maybe he or she can move the agenda around to get better information. Okay. So presidents, involve your VPs in what's going on, but be sure they understand they're just to watch and learn and help. Again, we talked about this, match members' interest, skills, and knowledge to assignments. If you have that new member, find out who they're passionate about, where they would like to work. Bring in some new blood. It's always good because it's surprising the number of times I've heard in a club, George has been doing the same job for the last 50 years. And so I asked the president one day when I heard that, so what are you gonna do when George dies? George is 82 years old. He's been doing this can recycling thing for 50 years. And the president kind of looked at me and went, I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. Okay. Maybe it's time to start thinking about it. Bring in some new blood, not to take over, just to participate. Provide job description. Look at your old records. Find out what it is. Somebody says, well, I'd like to be the chair of the aluminum can recycling. Great. You got it. Well, what am I supposed to do? I've never done it before. How does this work? It's nice to have maybe a job description of what their duties are supposed to be. And that's something that the secretary could have in their binders under service projects. Who is in charge? Who is on the committee? All right. That list you're going to have right along with your agenda when you have your meetings. Regular reporting. How often are the committees going to report to you, the president? Just at the meetings? Maybe they need to report more often, especially if this is something that's coming up. It's very important. It's a big deal. Maybe you should have an update once a week. I don't need to involve the whole club because I have the committee. The committee's in charge of it. They're the ones that are doing it. All right. But I would like to have just a weekly update, just so that I know, as your president, what's going on. In case something happens, I can step in and help. Communicate regularly with the committee chairs via the vice presidents. You don't want your committee chairs to think that you're leaning over their shoulders, watching everything that they're doing. Because I guarantee you that's exactly what they're going to think if that's what you're doing. If you're down there watching, seeing, participating, you're the president. Okay? You're not the committee chair. It's there to keep you in the loop, just so that you know. Be sure the committee chair understands that. Okay? That you're aware of the progress. any of the problems, any of the achievements that are going on. Again, you're just trying to stay in the loop. Keeps the committee focused. Because if the committee chair knows that you're sort of kind of watching, no, you're not looking over their shoulder, but you are watching because it's an important thing. And don't overlook follow-up. As an ex officio, when your year is up, so attend at least one meeting, okay? I found it hard after having been president for 4 years. When the new president took over, I elected to not be at the first meeting. It was my decision. And I didn't want to be there because I didn't want everybody to start looking at me and asking me questions and not the president. And I found out that was the wrong answer. Because I had somebody later on come up to me, even after missing one meeting, wanting to know if I'd quit. Well, what do you mean? Well, no, I haven't quit. Well, since you're not the president anymore, I thought maybe you just decided to step aside, not doing anything. No, this is what I was thinking, and maybe I was wrong. Okay. So still attend meetings. Ensure elections comply with the Constitution and bylaws is probably the second most important thing that you do as a president. Because it really sets the tone for next year. It ensures that everybody got to vote. The selection committee did their job. And it all was done correctly in accordance with your bylaws. And everybody's had a chance to speak or do whatever they want. You can have each of the members speak prior to the election to give the club an idea of who they are. Chances they probably already know. You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, but be sure it's open and it meets the deadline. So you're going to vote in April, and in May, the secretary is going to submit all of the new officers to LCI. Okay, review your bylaws and everything, your LA2. And Article 3, Section 1(8) of the standard one really delineates this for you. It works out really well. It's really cut and dried. But it does give you the steps to go by. So appoint a nomination committee. You appoint a nomination committee. This is one of those ones where you don't have to ask for volunteers. You can if you want to. You can say, Sam, Mary Sue, Joanne, and Fred, and Carla over here. I want you 5 to be my nomination committee. You're going to be responsible for finding nominees for president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and if you have a board of directors, at least one board of directors, and a membership, because they're voted on also. That's not one you don't have to ask for volunteers. I always assign that because I wanted different people all the time. Because the way I looked at it, and maybe I'm wrong, if somebody's going, I volunteer for the nomination committee, that meant to me they had an agenda. They wanted somebody specifically to be the next president, as opposed to the vice president stepping up, which is the way it's supposed to be. Okay. So I always appointed the committee, and every year I always appointed somebody new. They submit a slate of candidates. The nominations from the floor are permissible prior to the vote. So here's what the nomination committee came up with. You know, here's my president, here's my vice president, here's a new second vice, here's a new secretary, here's a new treasurer, here's a new membership chair. And here's a new board of directors. These are the names we submit. So you go to the club and say, are there any volunteers or nominations from the floor? No, there isn't. Great. Do I have a motion to accept, or is there any discussion? Okay, do I have a motion to accept the nominees as listed? Second, all in favor, all opposed? There you go. And then you vote. Because sometimes there might be, yeah, I'd like to be the president. So now there's two. So. Hold the election, announce results right after the election, and the secretary submits the report to LCI by May 15th, the PU 101. So within your club, things that you can do to get the information out. Club bulletins or emails. Today, in today's world, most everything is done electronically. There are some clubs out there. Julianne, you might have some people that maybe don't have email or don't have internet. Then you just need to figure out some other way of getting them the information, which is a club bulletin or whatever, of things that are going on in the club. Not just the minutes, but this is what's happening. District activities and newsletters. You as a president are going to get things from the district. You're going to get things from LCI to get our district newsletter. Okay. We don't send it out to everybody. The district doesn't. We send it to the presidents. It's up to you, the president, to get it out to your members. Okay. LCI, LCIF activities. There might be something going on from LCI or LCIF. If we get this $20,000 grant for Denton, then I'll send out something to the president saying, this is what we did, this is what's going on. So now, because I want everybody in the district to understand what we're doing for Denton, okay? Ensure committees report to the board of directors and to the clubs. Don't let them just come to you and say, well, this is what we're doing, this is what's going on, and this is what's happening. And then you go to the meeting and you say, okay, can I have a report from the aluminum can collection committee? And they're gonna say, well, I already told you everything. No, it's not about me. It's about the club, okay? The club needs to know what's going on, all right? Publish the club and the board of directors minutes. This is open. There's nothing secretive about this. All the club members should know everything that's going on in the club, because understand, they're at the top. Outside your club. This is something we had a problem with in my club when I first took over. We had too many people trying to get a hold of media and trying to get information either on the web page or Instagram or whatever it was we were doing. So establish who will respond to what. The secretary, the committee chairs, the vice president, so that only a single person knows about it. Be sure you are made aware of all requests for assistance. You're going to get something, or somebody, the secretary or the treasurer might get a letter from somebody, a request for hearing aids, okay? And then they bring it to you at the club level at a club meeting. Well, wait a minute. I should have known about this beforehand, so I could have done some further follow-up, say with Montana Alliance Sight and Hearing, and letting them know that, yes, we got this request, or, just those types of things. Be sure you're made aware of all requests for assistance. And follow up with the responder. Okay, whoever sent it to you, be sure you get back to them, let them know, thank you very much for your request, or thank you very much for your information. We really appreciate it. As we do more, I will let you know more. Okay, but at least then they know that you're doing something. Appoint a good public relations chair, one person, okay? then everything funnels through that. It's kind of like a committee chair, but it could be only one person. So the LCI website, for example, press releases, public service announcements, etc., because they're always putting something out there. Lions University course, public relations is a good one. Send articles and pictures to local news media. I've said it over and over and over again, and I say it in every meeting I have, in every club I visited. We are good at service. Nobody, and I mean nobody, does service like Lions clubs do. But we suck at marketing. Nobody knows what we're doing. Everybody knows there's a Lions Club around. They have no idea what we're doing because we don't ever tell anybody because it's a secret. No, it's not. You'd be surprised the number of papers and radio stations love to announce certain things that Lions are doing because it helps the public. That's what we do. So be sure you have a public relations chair that is active, that knows the local papers, the local radio stations, all of that stuff. Create a website or a Facebook page if you don't have one. Okay. If you don't have a website, let me know because we can give you one off of our website for free. Because a lot of clubs will say, oh, we can't afford, $10,000 for a website. Don't need one. We give you one right off of my website. Okay, the one I just established this year. We set it up so that any club can have a website off of our website at no charge to them. Okay, Facebook, it's just another way of everybody seeing what's going on. Be sure that you have a person that's in charge of Facebook because everybody loves to get on Facebook and do things. And the next thing you know, you've got conflicting reports and different things going on because other people are saying other things about the club. Okay. One person, please. E-Club, Twitter, Instagram, all of those. Okay. Members look to the president for leadership. You are the leader, right? But it's not my way or the highway. This includes guidance, motivation and help, solving problems, all the above. You're the be all and end all to Lionism. Maybe come June 30th at the end of your term, you're going to go, God, am I glad that's over. Or the club may love you so much, they're going to say, Julianne, would you do it again next year? And of course, you can say, nope, I'm done. Or like me, sure, why not? I did it for 4 years. Build a shared vision among the club members. If the entire club is all going in the same direction, Katie by the doors, there isn't anything we can't do. I don't care how many members you have in your club. If we're all going in the same direction, marching to the same music, holy smokes. It's going to happen, I guarantee it. Guide and encourage members toward reaching club goals, personal goals, if you have some of those. Provide leadership opportunities. The district always has this type of leadership. Okay, we did it this time because the other one didn't work out really well, but in May, we're doing another one in Helena, which is in person, kind of the same thing, but maybe expanded a little bit more, okay? Covering up some more. Provide that opportunity to somebody else, say, look, Sam, why don't you go to this leadership training? We'll pay for it. Well, the district is already paying for it, but we'll pay your mileage down there. The district is paying for the hotel and the food and everything, but, we'll pay the mileage down there. Why don't you go to this? I think you'd be good at it. That starts the ball rolling, okay? Be aware of leadership training. Well, just talked about it, okay? Encourage attendance at training like this, okay? Develop a mentoring program. We already talked about the aluminum can thing, and the guy that's been doing it for 50 years, and make him a mentor for somebody else and anything that's going on, okay? We had we did a senior Christmas party every year, and we had the same person in charge of it every year. And when I took over as president, I got a hold of this person, and I did the exact same thing. You know, Terry, what happens if you're incapacitated? Then who's going to do this? And we found a young lady that would love to help. And so I got them together and I said, why don't you start mentoring Sam over here on how this senior party goes so that we spread the wealth and it's not just with you. I mean, you've been awesome all these years, okay? Build them up, let them know that you're not replacing them, but you're doing mentoring. Every member has an important role to play. The number one reason why people quit is because they're not involved. And the reason most people aren't involved is because it's the same people doing it over and over and over again. Okay? Mentoring program, bring the new ones in. Every member has a role to play. Lead by example. You don't have to do it. If you're doing it, that means other people aren't. Your job is to ensure that the club is doing it and they're doing it right. Your job is not to be doing it. So if you have an idea, you know, I have this idea that we maybe should be collecting aluminum cans and then turning that money in, and then we can use it for our funds. And nobody volunteers to be the chair. And you go, okay, I'll head it up. Well, guess what? You just took the opportunity from everywhere else. One of the best things you can do at that point is say, well, I thought it was a good idea, but if you folks don't want to do it, then I guess we won't do it. And you'd be surprised that somebody will go, all right, Mr. President, I'll chair it. Great, Sam. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Throw it back at them. Okay? Lead by example. But you don't have to do it. Start here, montanalions.org. If you haven't gone to the website, please do. You have somebody that's interested in maybe becoming a Lion or wants to know more about it, montanalions.org. You want to log into LCI, montanalions.org. You go right to LCI. You want to know about LCIF, montanalions.org. Okay. You need to find out who the president of HAVR is, montanalions.org. Contact us, clubs, HAVR. It brings up the officers. Okay. You can find anybody that's in our directory right off of montanalions.org. You've done something really fun in your club and that media person, I better find it on montanalions.org, because that's where I go there every day to see what other clubs out there are putting information on that site so that you can see what other clubs are doing, so that maybe you get an idea. Damn, I hadn't thought about doing that. We can do that. Now there's a new idea. Okay. Past presidents, officer, experienced Lions, talk to them. Talk to me. Okay. You know, we have past international directors. We have all kinds of leadership and stuff like that in this district that can help you out if you want it. Our GMT, our GLT. When I started getting involved in the district, I was going, who the heck is GMT? What is GLT? You know, so the membership team, if you're want ideas on how to improve membership, get a hold of the GMT. Who do you find out who that is? montanalions.org. Who the global leadership team is, the zone and region chairs, who the district governor is. That's me. Okay. montanalions.org. You want to get a hold of me? MontanaLions.org. There's a space that you can click on that says contact the governor. That would be me. Come July 1st, it'll be Scott Dornfield. Okay, but you can contact me by phone, by email, or we can chat right off the website. Vice district governors, past district governors. There's a lot of people out there that can help. If you need help, call me, email me, text me. I guarantee you I will be there for you. If I need to come to your club, I will. Lions Learning Center course, developing leaders. USA Canada Forum Bachelor's Program. I did that right after I became zone chair. And it was an eye-opener. A lot of really good information. Not only that, when I went to the USA Canada Forum in Spokane, I got my bachelor's degree. Now, that's not a bachelor's degree that you get when you go to a university, but it was interesting because my youngest daughter, just got her bachelor's degree through the Air Force University. Now, this is a bona fide bachelor's degree in geography. So she sent me a picture of it. And right after I got my certificate, I said, look, your dad just got his bachelor's degree. And believe it or not, at the last one in Des Moines, I got my master's. Okay. And now I'm working on my doctorate. But I'm finding it a lot of fun and I'm learning a lot still. So organize your records, meet and transfer, meet with new officers, discuss transitional projects. Okay. Ensure proper communications for ongoing for projects. Talked about all of this. Recognize your Lions and others for their hard work and dedication. You're going to have that individual that's been doing the same thing for 50 years. And you're going to say, you know, Sam, you need an award for this. No, I don't want the recognition. Please, I don't need anything. I'm happy to do this. But I tell you what, you buy one of those acrylic plaques, it's got his name on it, thanking him for his 50 years of doing as a committee chair, you're going to watch him light up when you hand it to him. No, he didn't want it, but when you give it to him, it means a lot. And when you have somebody that's doing something, that's doing a really good job, Melvin Jones, okay, Progressive Melvin Jones, LCIF contributing member pins. I have a whole stack of longevity pins I need to give out. It's like that thick. So chances are I have your club's name on here too. District awards. Somebody's doing something really good. Maybe at convention we recognize them. Club awards. Go to LCI and go to awards. There is a slew of awards that you can give your people. It's unbelievable. Whether it's a pin, a badge, a plaque, a cup, pens, it's all there. Recognize your people for what they do. All righty. Running out of time here. So we talked about the duties of your position, how to plan your year, the leadership expectations, where to find resources, and how to enjoy your year. We really didn't talk about how to enjoy the year, but if you do all the things and you're prepared and you're proactive, hopefully you'll be like me. I had fun and I thoroughly enjoy being the district governor. And I shouldn't say this, but if they asked me to do it again, I probably would because I enjoy doing it. But if you're doing things right, it's fun. It's not a job. When you see a little girl get her glasses for the first time because your club got those glasses for her. Yeah, always chokes me up when that kind of stuff happens. You get a guy that has hearing aids for the first time and now he can actually hear. And you do those things. And you see the little kids when you're doing hamburgers and hot dogs and, oh, this is a really good hot dog. It's as simple as it is. always gives you a warm feeling when you're doing service, because that's what we do. That being said, I'm going to open it up for questions.
First of all, great job, Mike.
Oh,
That
thanks.
very nicely and succinctly put together. So
I don't think I'll have any questions until I get through a few more things, so then we'll see.
You know how to get a hold of me.
I got a lot of stuff to look at, so,
You know how to get a hold of me.
yep, I do.
Okay.
Thank you. Mhm.
And I'm here.
Okay.
I did 24 years in the Navy, so I'm used to phone calls at 4 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah.
please don't do that, but I will answer it.
No. I was just gonna mention real quick, and you said you saw people with their glasses or their hearing aids. That was one thing we talked about at our meeting last night. So I'm the club president in Nashua. I think they're down to 100 kids in the whole school. And every year the Lions have provided, they have a Christmas shopping spree, and they go into the school and the library, and they have donations, or they have bought things. So these kindergartners, I mean, whatever, can walk through and they can pick out a gift for their mom or their dad or their brother or their sister. And I think they have, I don't know, I think gifts are a quarter, or they do something like that, quarter, 50 cents. So they're like paying for something. Some of them, even they give them the money to go and spend it. But yeah, they're just so excited and happy to go for their Christmas shopping. And I know was one thing we were just making the final details on, because we had to postpone it last year because of COVID. So
I know.
anyway, but yeah, again, they just light up with certain things. So
It's really heartwarming when you see these little kids.
Yeah.
And even the 86-year-old guy that goes, wow, I can hear again. You kind of go,
yeah,
okay, all right, I got it.
yeah.
So Jerry, are you ready for next year?
It'll be 2 years. It'll be 2 years from now.
Oh, 2 years. So you're first vice. Or
Yeah,
second.
but the guy that's going to be president next year is somewhat unreliable. So I feel like I'm going to be slipping in, for frequent meetings.
Well, you never know what your board of directors may do. They may say, Sam, you're done. Well, we're going to bring Jerry in. So, I mean, you never know.
We're
got a
pretty good at
fallback
turning
plan
over
there.
the duties down the line. If there's a guy that's going to be out for a week, we'll give it to the first vice president. And
Yep.
if he's not there, second, and then even the third vice president in the
Yep.
club.
Well, and that's why you as the president need to be sure that you keep your first vice really involved in what's going on. Okay. So I just had shoulder surgery and I missed our club meeting because I had just come off of surgery. And I mean, if I was the president, I wasn't going to go to the meeting. So knowing that in advance, I would have had my first vice run the meeting and know everything, hopefully, that I did. So yes, that's why it's important that you keep your vices informed. I should say vice presidents.
Right.
Okay, anything else? You have my phone number, you have my email. Because it's, where is it?
MontanaAlliance.org.
There you go. Awesome. If you didn't learn but one thing, it's MontanaAlliance.org. All righty. Folks, thanks for being on for tonight. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you very much for your time and expertise, Mike. Sure appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, y'all have a good night. Have a Merry
Yep.
Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Same to
Same to
you.
you.
Bye-bye.